So I normally pick up an example of a place like, say, Paris. Go to Paris or go to Disneyland, and what
Mm-hmm.
tends to happen is people create, or they have memories of that location. So what
Mm-hmm.
destination marketing or management tends to do is that it tries to create an experience around the location and the interactions that the consumer has in that destination as a tourist or as a visitor, then tends to be, he or she tends to take that experience away, and that kind of guides him, or kind of aligns his coming back to that location again. So I'm going to send you one presentation today, just to go over, so that you are able to understand the concept of what is destination marketing. And
Mm-hmm.
this is important is because I think when we look at one or two units, there is another unit that we will look at in your level 6, which
Mm-hmm.
also has this concept of something called the destination marketing. And so it is important, so that you have some knowledge in bearing about what this unit is, what this particular term means, and how it is relevant to travel and tourism industry. So we are looking at, in general today, learning outcome 3, which is the impact of internet and social media on tourism and hospitality management.
Okay.
And what we're looking at is one particular presentation now open on the screen. And this talks about the latest trends which are coming into and part and parcel of the travel and tourism industry, because they help the players in general, the key players in the ecosystem in general, to be able to promote and do an outreach to the customer. So a hotel chain would use internet extensively to send out offers, or look at
Mm-hmm.
loyalty club kind of a program. There is a lot of things which are now possible because of the development of technology, and these things were not possible before, because the only medium of reaching out to the customer was the traditional medium, which is print and TV and radio. But with
Mm-hmm.
the advent of internet, with the advent of broadband now available, the telecommunication advancements in terms of you having access to the internet, email, and other things on your phone, tablet. So there's more than one screen now. So if you have heard this word, or this sentence, basically it used to talk about that there are three screens currently. The
Mm-hmm.
three screens are, the first screen is the cinema screen. So if you look at the 1930s and 40s and 50s, people used to go out and obviously go to the cinemas to watch most of the things, and that
Mm-hmm.
was called the first screen. The second screen, when TVs came out in the mid 70s, and it became prevalent in the early 80s, TV became the second screen. Now,
Mm-hmm.
with the proliferation and the increased penetration of PCs around the world, with Windows coming in and Windows becoming graphical user interface in the early 90s, the
Mm-hmm.
third screen became the screen which was the PC screen. But nowadays, we are talking about the fourth screen. And the fourth screen is nothing but, the phone or the tablet, because you're able to carry that screen with you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
So this concept, in terms of the advancements in technology, has enabled people to carry, and because of the advancements in telecommunication in particular, it has enabled consumers to consume data, information, knowledge, and marketing and promotions through the use of their mobile phone or this fourth screen. And that is
Mm-hmm.
what we are going to concentrate when we talk
Okay.
today, in terms of at and how technology is kind of shaped up the promotion of travel and tourism industry in general. So the
Mm-hmm.
first thing, which obviously one of the key things, was that computers in the future weigh no more than 1.5 tons. So concept of computers, was there in early 1940s, but when most of the machines were, punched machines. But as the modern day computer that we see today, few people would have envisaged that this would be the size and the shape in which the computer will be available today. So imagine 70 years back, when somebody said that computers, which used to be across a couple of rooms, would be the size and weight of them will reduce drastically. Now let's look at what are the major changes which are coming in the travel and tourism industry in particular, because of the internet. So first thing that you see is digitization and connectivity. Now this is a self-explanatory term. I don't need to explain this much. But digitization means that anything that you see in print or in a tangible form that you can see, that is also now available on, in some sort of a digital form. That means if you see a poster, that poster is replicated and is available currently on the internet, and it can be easily sent across on emails. Connectivity, you understand, because everybody is now connected with emails by phone, by Facebook, or by Twitter, things like that. If you tweet, millions of followers, if you have, they can receive your tweets straight away and they can connect with you. I think you've dropped off. So the other things that we look at is, in particular, the internet explosion. So who was the inventor of internet? Do you know that? It was Tim Berners-Lee, and he invented the internet, which came out of the concept of the ARPANET, or the network which the military used in the US, DARPANET and ARPANET. So in 1995, it came out, and slowly and gradually, the internet has also, the use of internet has also proliferated. That means they say that there are, over 3.4 billion people which are now connected to the internet. And that basically ensures that if you put out a message on this medium, then the communication across this medium is pretty much instant, and a lot of people can be reached as compared to the print and other mediums. Now, there are other new types of intermediaries which have come up. So we talked about an example of a website called Trivago last time. And this basically is an example of an intermediary, because between the hotels and the consumer, Trivago is a site which is like a super search engine for booking of hotels. So some of these intermediaries, like Money Supermarket within the insurance industry, you look at Trivago within the hotel industry, these have come up, and they are typically now classified as something called online travel agencies. So you have access to information, you have the knowledge, you have access to internet, you're able to search and get the information that you want, and then obviously, look at booking the best possible package at the best possible price. Now, the other important thing which people need to understand is, or I would explain, is customization. Now, have you used, say, for example, certain applications which are, say, flight booking applications? Like there is one app called Kayak. Now, Kayak, as an example, Kayak. So Kayak as an app actually allows you to, look at booking, your, say, your travel ticket, through the internet. Now, what it does is, if you do not find, for example, let's look at an example this way. You download the app, and you're trying to book a ticket to New York from here. Now, when you do the search on the application, you do find that the prices of the tickets which are coming up are, in upwards of £400. So what you can do is, in the app, it allows you to do a bit of customization, is that you go in and you put your target price, at what price you're looking at buying the ticket. So you go in and you say, okay, I'm looking at buying a ticket between $300 to $350 or pounds. And then that allows you to create a customization within the app, and then the app basically does the work in the background. So in any of the days that you are trying to, you said, okay, I need to travel between 1st and 31st of March, and I'm looking at paying between 300 to 350 pounds for a return ticket from London. So and today he looked at the prices are not there. So you leave it there with this particular customization, and the app will automatically send out an alert to you saying that today that's the price which you are looking at, and this is the ticket which is available. So the customization angle in terms of the technology is made it very, very easy for the consumer today to be able to look at bargain and offers. So similar case or concept now works within the case of hotels. So if you go to some of these sites and you sign in and create an account, what the account then allows you to do is customize the kind of offers you want to receive at the time you want to receive and at the price you want to pay for these. So this is something which has now become possible because obviously because of the use of technology. Now, let's look at defining some of these concepts going forward. So digitization and connectivity. Now, digitization, as I mentioned to you, means converting, text, data, sound, image into a stream of, bits and pieces of information which can be translocated from one location to the other. Now, imagine yourself in the 1980s when there was no internet. What used to happen is if you printed a movie poster in, say, Bollywood in Bombay, and you wanted to promote that movie somewhere in London, how would have that traveled? That would have traveled through the ship. Yeah, through the ship. So a couple of posters and placards would have been made. They would have been boarded onto the ship, and then after 15, 20 days of journey, the ship would have arrived, or the plane. If you were traveling by air, for example, in the early 1940s, 50s, the plane would have arrived, and these same things would have been looked at by the artists there, and they would have been replicated and put across. Now, digitization in today's world is possible because it can happen almost instantly because of the presence of internet. So that is what basically it means, that if I have a photo that I see, I'm visiting a location and I like the view. So what you do is you take a photo from your camera, but the camera did not have connectivity. 10 years back, when you look at digital cameras or SLRs, you could take a photo, but you could not transmit it because you had to connect to a PC and then send it. But today, the digitization is, or connectivity is, that you take a photo with a good 10 megapixel mobile phone camera, and you can instantly post it up or send it to your dear ones. So that explains you the concept of, connectivities because of the telecom infrastructure, the networks. And when you say networks, you're looking at LAN, MAN, and WAN, local area network, wide area network, and, metro area networks. These networks have now made the world connectable. So in transmission of information is almost in. Now, there are networks, as we see in terms of technology. There is something called intranet. Now, intranet means it is intra. The word means inside. So intranet means networks which are created within an organization, within a hotel. So if you are going to, say, Intercontinental Hotel, they have their own intranet network which is accessible by all the employees within the hotel. So the front office, the booking and the reception counter, the checkouts, they are all available on the system and the network within the hotel. It does not mean that the customer walking in from outside can check in or access information which is stored on that network, because that network is internal to the organization. That is why it is called intranet. Then there are networks which are called extranets. Now, extranets were created as a medium because a lot of companies started to have multiple offices. So the businesses started to become global. So when the business started to become global, what they wanted to do is they wanted to have connectivity between different offices or within their different suppliers. So, for example, here a good example is if you have a hotel like Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn actually use the extranet to connect all their hotels within UK. All the, say, 1,200 hotels within the UK. Because what they wanted that information to collate was how many rooms at any given point in time are available. Because if we take bookings on the phone or bookings by the internet, then we need to know the exact capacity in terms of exact vacant rooms which are available in all the hotels. And some of their suppliers had been given this connectivity because they reorder certain stuff which is required to be used within their hotels. Things like, for example, linen or clothes, the orders for which has to be placed. So if this goes down below this quantity, they wanted access to be available to suppliers to provide that automatically. So extranets in general were networks created within a company, but it connected various offices of the same company, and also in certain extent their suppliers. So that was the concept of extranet. That means it is outside, but within still the remits of one particular company, if that makes sense. Now, with the concept of internet, what then came across is, because of the security policies and the connectivity which was possible within the internet, what happened was that the companies could still connect their offices, connect their suppliers, but also make that information available across the internet without any restrictions to its consumers. But there were certain areas which could still be hidden or password protected, and that allowed that information to be dynamic. So intranets and extranets, provide information which is mostly static. That means it is not updated over time. Somebody has to go in and manually update that. So,
Okay.
like for example, a hotel had expanded and it had created 20 more rooms or added 20 more rooms, then that means somebody had to go in and plan those 20 more rooms and add that into the room capacity for that particular hotel. But with the internet coming in, if the room capacity was added, then straight away 20 slots could have been created and booking could have been increased from say 100 rooms to 100. Customers would then be able to book additional 20 rooms. So these are types of networks which have, we have seen over the years, which have kind of, helped create connectivity and real-time information. The key word is real-time information available, because you do not want a situation wherein you book a hotel, but by the time you finish your booking on the internet, the rooms have already gone, right?
Yes.
Sometimes what happens is you see this kind of situation is that when you're trying to book a flight and you're trying to book a hotel, what says is we'll hold your booking for 15 minutes to be able to complete this booking. But after 15 minutes, you have to restart the process of finding the hotel again.
Yeah, the session expired, they say sometimes.
Yes, session expired. So these are things which have come in because the information has become more or less dynamic. Now, let's look at internet explosion. Now, who created the internet? Internet was created by a British scientist, Tim Berners-Lee, in 1995. Now, when the internet was created, it was being used predominantly by the military as a network to share information, in America, and it was called the ARPANET or DARPANET. And he used the concepts of the connectivity to create something which could then be made available to consumers. Now, when internet started to come, the internet boom actually happened around 2000, 2001. And when it started to happen, what it meant was that a lot of places could be connected because they had PC and other infrastructure available, wherein telecommunication then started to reach and that connectivity became possible. And that is where what has happened is over the years, the population or the number of people who can access internet, the figure was 1.5 billion in 2007, and today that figure is more than doubled to 3.4 billion in 2017. So lots and lots of consumers are now being connected. That is why this is much more wherein you go beyond boundaries straight away rather than just staying within advertising boundaries within a particular country. So if you advertise on Sky, for example, Sky network is present within Europe only. But if you advertise on Facebook, you can choose the countries and go across to 180 countries across the globe at a fraction of a cost. So the explosion of internet has made this available, this facility available, that the ecosystem within the travel and tourism industry can actually advertise and go across to the consumers across the world with the use of this particular technology. Now, when we talked about the term intermediaries, so with the dot-com boom, which happened in the early 2001, 2002, what we got to see was the websites like Expedia, Priceline, Travelocity, lastminute.com, these kind of websites came up. Even sites like Compare the Market and Money Supermarket came up in 2005 or 6. And they became intermediaries because they were like shopping channels or channels which could allow users to come in and compare, shop, and then decide there and then on the basis of price and the the features and benefits available to buy products or services by comparing different brands and different hotels. So an example of say Expedia here is that if you want to buy holidays or if you want to book a flight, what you do is you go to a site like Expedia rather than go to like British Airways and Virgin Airways and Lufthansa and things like that. What you do is, okay, let's go on to a travel site wherein we can find all the information in one click of a button. So these intermediaries obviously charge a bit of money. They make money as well, but their main aim is to make multiple brand services available under one umbrella. So consumers flock to these sites and they get the best deals and are able to compare, plus able to see and are able to get the best possible prices they have in mind to be able to, look at buying a holiday, booking a flight, whatever it is. Customization. So explaining that technology has been useful in assisting companies in understanding their customers and the potential customers on an individual level and developing marketing to their specific terms. Now, you have also looked at the, another definition of customization which I'll put across is you have heard and seen that if you buy something at Argos or if you buy something at a retailer electronically through the website like Amazon, they always send you a survey, right? The survey which is sent is basically asking you questions about how did you like, what was your shopping experience, why did you shop, and did the shopping or the product meet your expectation? And then before they start with some demographic questions like what is your age, male, female, things like that. And the idea here is they want to collect as much information as possible so that when they send you offers or promotions the next time round, they are able to tailor and customize it to your preferences. And this has been possible because of the available of internet and technology in general. So you still get to see, feedback forms and surveys that you fill in when you check out of a hotel, right? So you fill it on a piece of paper, or they give you a feedback form or a survey form and they ask you to post it. But if you look at that process, what tends to happen is you will fill the form up, you will post it back to the hotel, they will pick it up, somebody will then digitize those responses, and those responses then will be analyzed against the database of responses which have been collected over the years. But with the use of internet, straight away the hotel can send you a survey through SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, and you can at a click of a button through the internet take that survey, and that automatically does all the calculations and also goes into the database. Correct? So the customization has been possible because of the ability of technology. This is what you get to see in terms of the application which is happening by the use of technology within the travel and hospitality sector. Now let's look at broadly these three terms which are used quite interchangeably. E-business, what is e-business, what is e-commerce, and what is e-marketing? E-business is nothing but it involves the use of electronic platforms to conduct a company's business. So an example of e-business, platform would be that you are today having something like SAP. Have you heard of SAP?
Yes, SAP.
So you're using certain platforms which basically help you to automate, or say, for example, forget SAP, look at Sage, for example. Sage is an accounting package, and most of your accounting with the help of Sage can happen electronically or on the computers rather than you doing a journal, then ledger and all that stuff. Sage does it for you. So that's an activity which is a piece of software which allows you to basically transact and do your routine operational business, and that is nothing but an example of e-business. E-commerce. E-commerce involves buying and selling of products or services through the electronic means and primarily through the internet. So this term came about within the internet in particular, and there are things that you can now buy and sell, like eBay, for example, Amazon, for example. They are examples wherein you are buying and selling products, and your payment systems are also electronic through PayPal or credit card or debit card. Right? When you go to a website, you can add things to your shop cart, and then when you check out, you can check out from the basket and pay for the products. Clear? Now the third term is e-marketing. E-marketing is where the company efforts are to communicate, promote, and sell products and services through the internet or intranet. So basically what is happening is more and more companies are looking at now sending you newsletters, mailers, mail shots, promotional offers, coupons, loyalty, club offers, and they are all coming to you electronically. So sometimes when you do a survey now for the company or when you buy a product, they always ask you, do you prefer for us to contact you by post, email, or phone? And most people select email. So email is basically nothing but a medium that they want to reach you using the medium of e-marketing. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at what are the benefits which the buyers are getting, in particular consumers are getting because of this implementation of technology. Obviously, it's become convenient. There is no doubt that today you can sit in your home and do banking on the internet. You can do it on your phone, so you can book tickets on your phone, you can buy holidays on your phone or your laptop or whatever, so it's become convenient. It's become easy and private. That means all the bits and pieces of information is available and you can do it, privately within the confines of your home, your office, things like that. Some of these sites, which is what we have talked about, is, the intermediaries or online travel agencies. They provide you greater access to products and selection. So sitting in one location or going to one particular site, you're able to search maybe hotels in, 200 hotels in a city as against individually going to their sites. you can compare information now, and also what it allows you to do is, in some cases, it is built-in interactivity. That means you are able to see the virtual room, without even going into and booking the hotel. You want to compare, but you want to also see how the room looks like. You want to compare and see how the golf course looks like. So those things could be done with the use of technology. Now, what are the advantages to the industry or the sellers? So everything is demand and supply. Everything is buyers and sellers. So sellers are the people who provide this service in the ecosystem. So hotel, resorts, cruises, airlines, all these are basically sellers. Buyers are basically consumers. It could be a corporate consumer, it could be offices, it could be businesses, individual consumers, organizations, things like that. Now, advantages to them are they can build customer relationships. That is why they focus on creating experience, and the experience that you can remember. These channels, intermediaries, for example, if you're cutting out, and you're going directly to the destination, you also sometimes are able to reduce costs because you're not going through the traditional travel operators to book a ticket, which keep their cut, and in turn the airlines keep their cut. So if the airlines are able to sell the tickets directly to consumers, it sometimes helps them to reduce costs, both costs in terms of the cost to the consumer, but also costs in terms of commissions that they pay to the intermediaries. Do you see the difference? They are obviously quick and efficient. And last but not the least, it also reduces communication costs. So when we look at talking about reduction here, we are talking about reduction which is predominantly to do with use of technology. So if imagine if I'm doing a mailer campaign which is going through the post, then I have to look at designing it, I have to look at printing it, I have to look at posting it, and then there are three types of costs: design cost, printing cost, and postage cost. But in the case of if I'm doing the same promotion through the internet medium or the digital medium, what I'm paying is I'm obviously paying the designing cost, but there is no printing cost and there is no postage cost in most cases. So it also reduces communication costs when sellers want to reach. Now, this particular term, B2C, B2B, have come across because of the e-commerce domain. So if businesses are marketing towards consumers, it is normally called B2C. If businesses are marketing towards businesses, or their offers or most of the promotions are targeted to other businesses, then it is B2B. And sometimes it is C2B, consumer to business, and consumer to consumer as well. So these are terms, and there's another term which has got added over the years now. It's called
e-commerce domains.
Yeah, the consumer means that a reseller, might be directly going to the consumer without any intermediaries in the middle. So, example, you have joined the course with us, directly to you. So you did not go to an agent or anybody else in the middle, like Hot Courses as a site, or somebody like that, and you came directly to the site and joined the course with us. So you basically came directly, or we went directly to you as a consumer, isn't it? So these are concepts where is out of the availability of internet and digitization. Now, briefly looking at, I'll go through some of these slides that are very self-explanatory. Types of websites, corporate websites, marketing websites. So what are corporate websites? Wherein most companies put out information about themselves, the product and their services. And they provide primarily services in terms of information. You are not able to transact any business on it. You cannot buy and purchase anything or buy and sell anything. So if you go to, for example, Apple's website, Apple as a company, if you go to, for example, a particular website like Intercontinental Hotels corporate website will talk about how the group came about, the history and all that stuff. But when you want to start booking a hotel, it will ask you to go to a particular destination, which country you are in. You'll choose the map or choose the country flag, and then you click on it. Then it will start showing the hotels which are specific to that site or that geography, and that is where you can start booking the rooms. So marketing websites are sites wherein you can engage and interact. That means you can purchase and buy and sell services. So an example here, go to Intercontinental website. That's a corporate website. From there, it redirects you to a specific website in the UK, wherein it talks, okay, in the UK we have 3 chains of hotel. We have Holiday Inn, we have we have Holiday Inn, Intercontinental Hotels, and we also have more Sheraton Hotels. So these three sites you'll have to choose, and one of the sites which you go to finally, you'll be able to book a hotel or a room there. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Obviously, when we look at, you are looking at designing an attractive website which has lots of information, lots of text which can be done, and it allows the user to stay on the website for as long as possible till they are able to, get business from them. So this is one of the things which you normally get to see, that a lot of these travel websites are very attractive. They are very colorful. They have virtual tours of the destination or the virtual tours of the location, so that you can actually see and experience what you're actually buying or what you're actually booking. So travel and tourism websites are the best websites when you look at, comparing websites around the world, because they give you almost a live look and feel of how the destination or the location looks like. Now, when we look at content, most of the sites convey content in terms of they give you some information about the company, about the product and the services. They talk about why you want to look at booking this place, or what are the reasons to book this place. And in some cases, they also put reviews and comments today from previous, customers or consumers who bought the same services. And then finally, they also have, things like a contact us page. If you get stuck, if there is further information or query that you have, then you can contact them. And last but not the least, most of these sites have something which is called a cookie. So they take some information and then store it on your PC locally, and that is called a cookie. But they also take permission if you fill up or when you buy some products and services, it says, can we contact you, or third parties can contact you for sending out similar promotion or offers. And sometimes when you opt in, then you start getting these, promotional emails. Now, when we look at the use of technology, because the use of technology has become pervasive, that means there is a very thin line differentiation between technology invading your personal privacy or your privacy, and a thin line between how much is too much in terms of technology. So what has happened over the years is, as the medium has developed, there is a lot of legislation and laws which have been also been introduced, which these companies have to comply to. Can you think of on a daily basis one of the lines which normally, you always get to hear on the phone, that these calls are going to be recorded for training and quality purposes?
Yes.
Why do you think they are, how much training and, quality monitoring they do, and they record all the calls? Why do you think they do that?
Privacy purpose, it is anything,
Well, partly, yes. I think the reasons why they look at recording these calls is because of the fact that there is law and legislation available that if you book a hotel or book a location or you product, you are able to return it without any questions being asked, within 14 days. And this return is possible because of the fact that you are within your, consumer right to be able to, return a product if you don't like it or if it doesn't meet your requirements. So when we look at that in particular, what tends to happen is these calls are also recorded is because they want to keep a track of what has been spoken and what has been discussed between the consumer and the information provider. So privacy in general has become quite important, and also when we look at privacy, you are also parting away with your personal data, things like your credit card information, your date of birth, and because of which these things have to be secured very safely, so that if they fall in the wrong hands, then they can be misused and you might end up losing money. So again, most of the transactional sites, or in this industry, when we look at the hospitality and tourism industry, they have to store information which is secure in a secure location, even if it's stored digitally, and they have to maintain and respect privacy, so that this information cannot be used for promotional purposes or personal gains, until unless you opted for it. A marketing database system, mostly when you go to a particular website or location and you do a checkbox saying that, okay, I would like to receive information about, promotional offers by this company and the affiliated companies, your data then gets entered, or your profile that gets entered into something called a marketing database system for that company. And a marketing database system is defined as it is nothing but an organized collection of data about an individual's, details, like things like what you like, your preferences, things that you have. Say, for example, if you stayed in a hotel, what kind of services did you use? Did you use the gym? Did you use the coffee shop? And these kind of things are recorded so that next time when you come across and ask and you stay in the same hotel, some of these services could be customized to create a better experience, on that side. Now, it is quite self-explanatory in terms of why this is done, using a database to create a competitive advantage. So, provide guests with a better experience. Do you need any explanation? It's pretty much understood, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's look at direct marketing. Direct marketing is interactive system of marketing that uses one or more advertising media to affect measurable response. Now, if I look at saying direct marketing, now direct marketing is, an example here would be, if you know exactly what you want to buy, then sometimes what you do is you open your PC or your Mac and you straight away type that website that I want to go and find that information, right? But sometimes what you do is you are not very sure where you will find that information. So what you do is you open the search engine and you type up certain, you type certain words that I'm looking for this information. And then Google will throw up a lot of websites which will have that information. And that is where you will click on a few and then finally arrive at the site at which you wanted to get that information from. Right? So these are two examples of how you do search. And where this relates to direct marketing is that if I know that I want to do, say, for example, a course like MBA, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I want to know that I want to do it from London Metropolitan University. So I'll straight away go to the London Met website, and from there I will go to navigate to the MBA courses or master degree courses and choose MBA and CV information.
Yeah.
But if I don't know that I want to do MBA and which university offers MBA in travel and tourism, then what you will do is you will type MBA travel and tourism on Google.
Yeah, just
search it. That is correct. And then search it. And then from there, by a few clicks, you will finally arrive at a particular place and you will find that information. So direct marketing is nothing but wherein you know the information what you want and the consumer is being reached directly by the provider of that service. So if you are a member of, say, Hilton Hotels and you normally stay at Hilton, Hilton will always send you some direct marketing information, which is direct mailer or a promotional offer or a code that's saying that, okay, the Easter break is coming. If you are visiting London, if you stay at the hotel, please use this code to get 10% off. So that is an example of direct marketing. But if you are not a Holiday Inn member or a member of that particular hotel group, then what they will not send you is something like promotional offer, because they do not have your details as far as your email and other things are concerned, because you've not stayed at the hotel, or even if you've stayed at that hotel, you've opted out of any promotional offers. So direct marketing allows you to go directly to a consumer and get a direct response because you've opted in or they have some information about you from your previous stay. Is that okay?
Yes.
Why do you think we do direct marketing? Some of the key, reasons why we do it are on the screen. So it talks about precise targeting, personalization, privacy, immediate results, and measurability. Now, give you an example. I ordered, a few notepads from a printer which is based in Netherlands. When we ordered the notepads, they were delivered day before yesterday, and then after that, what happened was straight away they send us a email saying that, how satisfied were you with the service? So they've done this. They've done the printing. They've delivered the product, and straight away they want to measure the response or see the get a response from us in terms of the satisfaction index. So digital marketing and direct marketing within this industry allows you to get, one of the key things is measurability. So sometimes you get this, you ask this, when you stay at a hotel and you go away and then you do a survey online, you're asked how, on a scale of 1 to 5, how, basic essence is that they will ask you in the question is, how likely are you to recommend this hotel to your friends and family on a scale of 1 to 5? So this is nothing but an example of measurability. They want to look at how good your experience was, and in the background they have this scale wherein they know, okay, if you are over 3, then that means you are likely to recommend this hotel, to your friends and family. If it is a 5, then it's a strong recommendation that you had a very good experience. So these are things that they get indication of when traveling within the industry. They do something called direct marketing.
Yes.
Now let's look at the mediums of direct marketing. These are slides which I'll email to you. They're self-explanatory. I don't think we need to go through. So one of the mediums through which direct marketing happens is email.
No.
Direct marketing images again it helps you build relationships, because direct marketing is much more cost effective. What it does is it also brings a higher response. You must have heard a term like direct mailers, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mailers which are sent through the post. Now they have a response of between 2 to 3%, in terms of success rate. But when you look at indirect mailers or leaflet drops, which happened, which is a mass leaflet drop which is happening, then that response is up to 1%. So direct marketing helps to build relationship, and it is much more effective is because the companies are able to customize and tailor the offers which are being sent to you either through the post box or through your mail drop, because they have some idea in terms of what your preferences are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are. And that is why direct marketing is also expensive, because companies, if you know, a lot of companies, when they reach out to new customers, they buy databases. And the reason they buy these databases is they buy them to get the background information about what the customer likes and what the customer dislikes, what is the earning potential, where they prefer to have holidays and things like that. So that is where direct marketing also is a very effective medium, but it also costs more, because companies in some cases have mind, that means they get this information. Now, sometimes if I advance this concept now to current age, which is like Facebook and Twitter marketing, a lot of direct marketing is now called integrated direct marketing. An example of that is that what tends to happen is you have done a on Facebook, okay? You have to imagine this, you've done an advert on Facebook, or you're doing an event and you've advertised that event on Facebook, but the Facebook itself is a paid channel. That means you're paying for the clicks for which the Facebook is advertising. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, what tends to happen is somebody who likes that promotion or comes and interacts with it has the ability to be able to initiate a callback or a button. There's a button always. And that button allows you to either call back, leave a message, or make a booking to the event there and then.
Okay.
And in some cases, what tends to happen is sometimes when you're trying to book something on the website, or you buy something on the website and the product is not there, then what you do is they say, okay, the product is currently not available, but if you leave your email or phone number, we will come back to you once it becomes available. And then at some stage when it is available, you will receive a call saying that you have placed an inquiry for this. We were stocked out at that point in time, but now the product is available. Would you like to come in and would you like to purchase this product? Where else is an example have you seen this working? This is nothing but an integrated marketing approach, is because you have in one location or in one place, you are selling the product, the consumer is able to interact with the product or can speak to a salesperson, and at the same time, they can ask for further information if they need on that product before they make a purchase. You also see this in certain cases on e-commerce website. So, for example, you're buying a thing on Amazon, and if it is stocked out, you can leave, a comment there that you want to buy it, or you say you add it to the cart. And what tends to happen is you do not complete your purchase, but they send you an email saying that you were looking at this product.
Yes.
Could you like to complete your purchase?
Yes, they do.
Correct?
Yes.
Have you seen that happening?
Yeah, it's so many times happened with me. Sometimes I try to see something. No.
Yeah. And what then tends to happen is that I was looking at travel booking with Thomas, and I basically came out without paying for it. So it sent me an email saying someone wrote your book, so we provide you a link to go back to your holiday, and with a price match guarantee. Can you see this? So
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so this is the advantages. This is the advantage of what we see is integrated direct marketing. That means we've gone to a particular location, which could be internet, maybe the showroom of that particular holiday operator, or on the phone, and they have the ability to be able to interact with you through the website, through the telephone, and through the post, and are asking you to basically complete the transaction. So, wherein in this particular concept of integrated direct marketing, what you get to see is there are multiple vehicles through which the company can reach to you, asking you to just requesting you or basically providing you enough initiatives to be able to close that offer or close that purchase. So integrated direct marketing as a concept is now very much applicable because of the use of technology, and this happens if you go to any e-commerce website, or when you're trying to make a booking, and you typically would get an email back saying you were not able to complete your booking. Now would you want to go and complete that again? Okay. Now there are some best practices, and what I'm going to do is basically of looking at where integrated direct marketing is used, and this I normally use an example of cruises that you book, a cruise holiday if you book, or when you book a holiday, when you go and you get an all-inclusive holiday. Say, for example, again, Disneyland, for example. Now, when you go, you can get meals, you get free rides, you get a hotel to stay in, you get hotel pickup and transfers from the airport. Now, this kind of a concept where you get everything included is nothing but an all-inclusive package. But how this does happens through the route of integrated direct marketing. So you place an inquiry to book a particular vacation, and you had some queries, and you call them up. They basically take you through the full process. But once you've gone through the full process, what then they also give you is options to be able to look at. Do you want to book this if you like that? Do you want to do this if you prefer this? We can give you this discounted offer and things like that. So they tend to sell you then the full package. And an example here is cruise liners. So, for example, the way they sell their holidays is the fact that you are able to relax. You have a pool, you have a casino, you have live performances, you have buffets, and you've got the the advantage of having 3 or 4 holidays in one. You have a beach holiday when cruise liner kind of beaches in a particular city for a day or so. Overnight, you again travel in the cruise liner, but during the day you visit the city. So this is nothing but an example of something called integrated direct marketing, wherein they try and sell you the benefits of a cruise, try and sell the benefits of a beach holiday, and also a holiday which provides you integrated offers wherein it takes care of the entire family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now these key terms, which is B2B, B2, so that you at least have a paragraph on each of them rather than just the definitions, and you're able to understand this in terms of with examples. Now, other things that we will look at is there are corporate databases, warehouse, and direct marketing. These are again terms which I'm going to send you on, and they will also include things like online travel agencies, search engines, comparative websites, which are basically nothing but all intermediaries through which, or social media, for example, are intermediaries through which today you interact and you buy products and services. So these are terms that we need to be aware of while we are looking at doing the learning outs, because one of the tasks is evaluate impact of social media on destination marketing. So what is the impact of social media? So social media impact is that if you've been to a holiday and you've left a review on Facebook or a like on their web page, or for example written a good review on TripAdvisor, then this has a positive impact on that destination, is because a lot of other consumers who are looking at booking that destination are able to see the reviews which talk positive, which talk in general about the experience they've had, which has been positive. Then it kind of pushes them or propels them to book the same destination. And it is becoming increasingly important. The negative impact is if somebody leaves a negative review, then there are a couple of things which can happen. One, the hotel might itself call up the consumer and say, okay, why did you have that experience? If they would want to investigate and maybe offer him or her maybe some sort of a discount the next time they want to book a hotel, so that they are able to kind of, do away with that negative review.
Yeah.
The other thing could be the negative review which has been posted can also cause substantial damage for the reputation of that brand and the reputation of that holiday destination. So a lot of things then go in, and you look at the positive and the negative impacts of the use of social media, because the technology provides us instant connectivity today and access to instant information. You tweet, you write a comment, or you post a review. It has got the potential to be able to reach thousands, hundreds, thousands, and millions of consumers at any given point in time. And this then can have a damaging or a very good impact on the reputation of that particular hotel or that destination. And that is what we need to look at when we look at the the advantages and disadvantages of social media. So when I send you a handout, which is going to be directly to the task, we'll talk about social media like Twitter, Facebook, TripAdvisor, Trustpilot, things like that. We'll talk about what are the advantages of using social media and what are the disadvantages of the social media. And when you do it for the assignment, what you'll have to do is look at the handout, and only thing would be you are looking at inserting an example of how this particular thing impacts, because the task is asking you to do evaluation. So the evaluation will have to do an example. Is that okay?
Yes, it is okay.
So these are the key terms that we will, I will send across along with the presentation, and a few handouts which will come in today with the previous presentation, which was background about, the travel in the advances in the travel and tourism industry. To include the presentation, which is destination marketing, which you go and read and get an overview. So you have a good bit of clarity in terms of quite frequently within the context of technology within travel and tourism industry. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Good stuff. So today what we've looked at an overview is the importance of it, in marketing, international marketing. Briefly looked at, some slight idea and concepts we've looked at in terms of the online travel agencies and what is the role of intermediaries. So OTAs are also called intermediaries that we've looked at, and what role do they play? And the last but not the least, the impact of integrated direct marketing through the use of social media or through the use of internet, which is required to be studied in the Learning Outcome 3. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So any questions and queries, by all means, you can send across on the email. And if you want, any specific, I'm going to try and send you the handouts for these, which will also be available on Moodle. And I'll put this handouts folder. When you look at logging in today, sometime later, what you will see is the units that we've covered. There is going to be a folder which will say handouts. That folder, and that folder will basically have additional information which is required within that unit, and they will be Word documents predominantly. And I will try and name them, the documents in a way wherein you are able to see the task. I've done that yesterday for some of the, say for example, units for so if you look at this particular email which I've sent to a particular student, what I've done is I've said 7.4, which is the unit, task 1.1, 1.2, task 1.3, task 4.1, task 2.1, 3.1. Okay. So these kind of handouts I'm going to try and do now, which will help in obviously looking at the information in terms of the tasks and the assignments which have to be done. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Sajid. Thank you for today's session, and in a couple of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the email in an hour's time, so that
Okay.
you have both the emails for the last session, and this session will be a separate email. So you'll have two emails coming from me.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Okay. No worries.
Okay. Okay, thank you. You too.